Boom! Guys, jump on here real quick. Let's get the show on the proverbial road. I know it's after, this is lunch hour. I know this. And I know many people, you're probably sitting at your table, sitting in a restaurant somewhere. You could possibly be at Mama Mwewa's kitchen. I mean, I don't know. It's, it's a small world. And you could be eating chimpapile visashi, nefinkubala, as I speak at this very moment. You could be there, but you could also be somewhere in your office eating lunch from within the office, and you're probably sitting there. And if you're watching me now, I am so honored that you would take time out of your very busy schedule to spend a few moments with me here on SML TV. I see somebody who's at Sipiwe. Thank you. I need to suss this thing out. Let me just make sure that the volume is good, the sound is good. And while I do that, please, sling this broadcast to people that you think would be interested in this conversation. I would be grateful. This morning when I woke up, in attempting to put on a tie that sort of matches my whole get-up, I reached for this maroon tie, and honestly, I started not to do it because there were a few ties there. There was a black one, a gray one, and a few other colors, And almost instinctively, almost without even thinking about it, I reached over and I grabbed the maroon tie and I proceeded to sling it around my neck. And as I was tying it, I turned to my wife and I said, honey, if you don't tell me now, the moment I tie the knot, I'm not going to undo this tie. I'm not doing it. So speak now or forever hold your peace. Tell me now, does this tie go? My wife looked at me and she says, you've already tied it. And you've already said, if I say anything contrary to what you're saying it might stay on. But the truth is, it's a lovely tie, she said. How many people, this is what marriage is about. People think that marriage is about these big, broad strokes. It's got nothing to do with that. Marriage is about standing in front of the mirror and looking at your wife or husband saying, do these shoes match? Just that approval or disapproval. How many people have been through that, where you wear something and your wife says, that is not working? Immediately you take it off because she knows better. So I don't know why I went off on that tangent. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that it's a technique to build the audience. I ramble while the numbers go up a bit. It's a thing. It's a live streaming hack. Okay, many of you complain about that because you say to me, "Mwewa, can you please get to the point because my bundles yapa yachimunga ya cheaper." Well, honey, you're just going to have to ride this wave with me. Okay, bundle or no bundle, you're going to have to stick around. And if you run out, you can catch it on the rebound. All right, guys, let's talk about it. First of all, I want to talk about this woman. There's a lady by the name of, what's her name? The new Katebe lady. What's her name? Tell me in the comments. What is her name? I wrote it down, and I wanted to discuss her a little bit because, of course, sometimes you discuss people because the world is made up of people. Okay, so it's very difficult not to discuss people. The lady, the chairperson, the lady in charge of an NGO called NGOCC. The lady in charge of that is Beauty Katebe. Now, the reason NGOCC means something to me is because I've had a brush with NGOCC. You guys remember Honorable Given Mwelwa. She, at the time, I think she had something to do with NGOCC. This was back when I was doing, let me take you all the way back. This was a few years ago. I was doing a video on the street, and I had already talked to the marketeers and the women in this area about participating in making sure that the area is clean. In particular, I focused in on the women that sold little blue water sachets or sachets. I always mix that up. I always forget how to say that. Is it sachets or sachets? The water sachets, the little blue water sachets, those little blue things. I sort of surmised that these women that sell this water should be part of the solution. They should be part of the process of cleaning any environment that is littered with those blue water sachets. So I had a meeting with the women, and I said to them, look, as long as you're walking around in this area and we call upon you to pick up those, as long as you're selling those, you should be part of an effort to clean this area. They all agreed. So this one particular day, you know, I'm vlogging and I see this young lady with a baby on her back. And I say to her, please pick up that water sachet or sachet. And she, if you watch the video, she never hesitated. She didn't protest. She didn't sort of push back, because she was one of the women that was present when we made this announcement, when we had this meeting, that I think everybody that sells plastic bottles or plastic sachets or sachets should be part of the solution. So when I asked her to pick up the plastic off the ground and throw it in the bin, she didn't protest. She very naturally agreed to do it. Now, when she did that, the whole of social media hated me. You guys remember this. I mean, they just detested me. They said, Mwewa, how dare you have the gall, the unmitigated audacity. Who do you think you are? Asking a woman standing in the scorching heat with a baby on her back, and you ask her to pick up a piece of paper, a piece of plastic, and throw it in the bin. You callous Viking, you. Oh, they called me everything in the book. They just hated on me. And yet, the whole message, the Zambian public had completely misread the message. Instead of people talking about how Mwewa is trying to inculcate this idea of taking responsibility for our environment collectively. Awe sugar. Mwina Zambia letfe wali mona Mwewa lewo mkashana ati dola ka plastic. Ata station ati dola. Edo chaba shan. Edo mkashana atola ka plastic. Aya posa mubini. Can you imagine? Just imagine Mwewa. Can you imagine? That's what he did. Yeah. Unanjeba, I'm telling you, it was in full HD. Na limu mona. Edo mkashana ana atola ka plastic. Aya posa mubini mulia. It became a scandal. Scandal! It was so bad that NGOCC wrote me a letter and published an article and referred to me as a woman abuser by NGOCC. Useless chaps. Useless. That group of feminists is up to no good. They claim to advance the causes of women. They claim to sort of prop this idea that women should have an equal opportunity as far as a seat at the table of leadership. They claim all of that, but they are not only toothless, they are useless in my view. And my experience with them tells me that. Now hear me before you start jumping on this bandwagon of, oh, Mwewa, how could you say that about a women's organization? I can say that because I've had a brush with NGOCC. My experience with NGOCC was horrific. Those jokers called me a woman abuser because I asked a woman in our community to be part of a cleaning process. Is it a wonder that I call NGOCC a bunch of feminist jokers? That's exactly what they are. And don't get it twisted. They're not all that. I mean, when you see the title NGOCC, don't shiver, don't quiver. They are a tiger with a glass jaw. Those homegirls don't even have fangs. And that's the truth. That is, I wish they could live up to their reputation. Honestly, I do. I wish they could sort of live up to this augmented alternative reality that they've created for themselves. But when you take a closer look at NGOCC, ain't nothing but a thing. Those homegirls just sit around sipping coffee and talking about last week's football game. That's all they do. Now, let's be clear. Beauty Katebe has somehow been propped up as this voice of reason. Somehow social media, and especially the opposition, they've sort of latched onto Beauty Katebe, and they have bequeathed the title of freedom fighter, and she speaks for the poor, and she speaks for the vulnerable. What are you even talking about? She was recently elected in 2024. She was elected as the new person in charge of the NGOCC. Okay. She's been involved in women advocacy for a while. We appreciate that. But to prop her up as some type of intellectual freedom fighter is being overzealous, to say the least. You are over that. In America, they call that you're reaching. That's called reaching. You are embellishing when you bequeath that title on her. She is simply a woman that runs an organization that literally has no teeth whatsoever. If they did have teeth, they would make a dent in the area of gender equality. But do they do that? No. All they ever do is go on expensive little trips and do little workshops and sip tea until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's all they ever do. I wish, honestly, really, everything in me wishes that they were relevant. That is one of the most irrelevant organizations I have ever seen in my life. How do you know that, mwewa? I've had a brush with them. I had an experience with them. Those jokers called me a woman abuser. The gall, the audacity, the unmitigated wit of those chicks. Every last one of those girls got to be high on something. Now, here's the thing, guys. There's something that Beauty Katebe said that just rubbed me the wrong way. It really did. And hear me out on this, because I'm going somewhere with this, and I really want you to sort of, just hear me out. Beauty Katebe deduces, she surmises, she thinks that the members of parliament that are supporting Bill 7 have each been paid 3 million kwacha. This is Beauty Katebe, leader of a so-called organization that's supposed to have teeth when they have none. She sits on an interview and paints in broad strokes, and she says, and we hear, okay? She has no proof. She has no substance. Just because she's the head of NGOCC, she thinks that she's insulated when she makes these outlandish claims that no, the members of parliament that are supporting this Bill 7, we hear they've been paid 3 million kwacha each. Really? And where the hell did you get that? Oh no, it's just, that's the rumor
on the ground, on the ground, we hear that these MPs have been paid 3 million kwacha each, and that's why they are supporting Bill 7.
Well, Beauty, I hate to be the one to have to break this to you, but you have got to have lost your cotton-picking Georgia peach mind. You're lucky they hadn't sued your tush, for lack of a better word. A tush it's a nice way of saying, you know. That's a big statement from a big so-called organization. Can you back that up? That's a big accusation. Now, these accusations are meant to derail the direction of where Bill 7 is going. And guys, let's be clear. In Zambia, you have to define, you have to be very basic, very basic. If you become too complicated, these politicians are aware that the vast majority of our Zambian population, tababelenga, lazy as hell, don't know anything. So they know that when they use phrases like that, our people are easily misled. This is why, and I keep saying this is why Hakainde Hichilema is emphasizing the need for free education. And the benefits of free education are not going to be felt here now. It's 15, 20, 25, 30 years from now. An educated electorate, you can get ahead with an educated electorate. Nombanga everybody wants a malumpens. Tababelenga. To quote Douglas, when you are able to read, you are a free man. Ooh, powerful. Powerful as all get out. Let's say it again. These politicians, they know that the hook they have, in as far as Bill 7 is concerned, they know that the vast majority of Zambians don't read. Bill 7 is there on the internet. You can read it for yourself. Plain, simple, pure, black and white. You don't need anyone to explain it to you. The language contained in the bill, very basic, rudimentary, simple English. There's nothing, there's no legal jargon in there that can mislead you or take you down the wrong path. But because these Dwanzi politicians, they know Zambians don't read, they're afraid of documents. So tell them anything. Tell them anything. They'll believe it. One of the lies that this Kasonde Mwenda, is it Mwenda? This chap who is the president of this EFF. I mean, I've never seen a more wayward politician that has lost his way. Brother doesn't even know where he is. This Kasonde Mwende was on a live KBN, is it KBN TV show, live debate. He made a claim that a president, in particular, President Hakainde Hichilema, he said, President Hakainde Hichilema, with this new law, this new bill, he can remove anyone at any time he wants. Thank God the moderator had the document. He gave it to Kasonde and said, can you cite where that says? Where does it say that? No, I mean the inference here, I mean no. Here's the document. He now starts thumbing through the document. No, actually, I think what you are referring to, I seem to have. Anyway, you know what I meant. Do you know why he could say that? If Ukushinina was a person, that was the moderator. Ali Mushinina. Ali Mchishinix. Kasonde ukufulungana. Why? Because these politicians, they are not used to being challenged factually. From a factual point of view, the moderator just simply said, can you tell us sites where it says what you are saying? The brother looked like a rabbit standing in front of a cobra. Didn't even know what hit him. Do you know why it's like that? Because Kasonde knows Zambians don't read. Kasonde knows that when he can say that, there are some Dwanzi Zambians who listen to Kasonde. Oh, if you're chidi, so can shafe whatever kuchitaba mambala, abama scales, these mamballers. There's a rumor out there that no, this Bill 7 contains a provision for HH to serve for 7 years. Where on earth? Where have you seen that? But what I have seen is that the term of a mayor, the two-term limit of a mayor, the proposal in this Bill 7 is that the two-term limit of a mayor be lifted, be removed. That's it. The other thing I've seen there is that the office of the council chairperson should harmonize with the 5-year term of parliamentarians. I mean, this is there. How do I know this? I read it. You mean you read it? Yes, it's in there. It's there. I mean, this is there. The other issue there is delimitation. This proposes that upon the recommendation of ECZ, there are some constituencies that are just too big. But if you cut them in half, the CDF funding that's supposed to go, the federal funding that's supposed to go to that constituency, if one big constituency receives 40 million, if you cut it in half, each of those constituencies receives 40 million. The member of parliament now has more of an ability to deliver services to his constituency because now the constituency has become manageable. This is why sometimes you hear people say things like, if I were MP Tatuamona. Now, of course, notwithstanding, there are MPs who are lazy, who are not seen. That exists. This is there. But the spirit of the letter of this bill is dealing with the issue of delimitation. Delimitation simply means, look, this thing is too big. Have it, cut it, so that it is more manageable. The other thing is that increasing the number of members of parliament from 156 to 211. People in the opposition, no, it's advantaging HH. What? How? So everyone will always vote for HH. Everybody. Everybody will always vote for HH. But this is a democracy. This is yin and yang. Here a little, there a little. Line by line, precept by precept. You must understand that. The biggest problem with this bill is that Zambians don't read. That's the biggest problem. If you read, you will discover very quickly that the provisions in this constitution, sorry, in this bill, they're not strange. And you must understand that the amendment, to amend, is a normal part of governance. To amend a constitution, the constitution is a living, breathing document. It is a path to a more perfect union. What does it mean to amend? And why is it important to amend? Because sometimes needs change. The constitution has to adapt to new needs. Because people change, people evolve. The things that we're doing now that we didn't do 20, 30 years ago. And the way to legally, formally change that is to present a bill on the floor of the House. And then people vote. I mean, this is there. It's simple. But here you've got people like Beauty Katebe who make these very outlandish, very big broad strokes kuti I am a members of parliament yaba wamene vachita support bill 7 ni basikeremu wanawapasa ma 3 million. Now to the average marketeer, Beauty Kateba knows that when she speaks like that, she knows that the average Namayo in marketeer will accept that. Which marketeer in City Market or Simon Moya Market is going to sit there and read Bill 7? They won't. But when they hear Beauty Katebe say, no, wali badi pirama pia, impia, chiramuntu wali ba pirama 3 million. That will be the rumor in City Market. Mani uvevachite. How bati rajani? Hatina wapere mpia mwe. Na wapera. Uleti mufi. Ala kuri mpia kule umfafi. Wapera shinga. Atima 3 million ya yo. Na badi ya na bano na. Na bena. Ifo tulechula. Ulangana na mayo wa City Market. Why? Te wako angalila kona mayo. Don't mess around with the mayos. They will mess you up. Beauty Kadewe, she knows that. But when you read the document, when you see it for what it is, not for what you think it is, for what it is there in black and white, you'll quickly understand that the bill is sound. Sound, it's good for the country. There's nothing adverse, nothing derogatory, nothing detrimental to the well-being of this country in this bill. If it were so, then point it out. You are a Zambian. Just read it for what it is. And if there's an anomaly there, say it. Eight. Simple. I mean, this is there. There are no if, ands, buts about that. Mwena Zambia kuti akupenya. Wayafya nempanga wafuma waya waluba tingere kuya tiona apena. Chinshi ati afuma mkuntwani ukutalaberenga bill 7. Na aluba mwana eleni. What else are we talking about? Mwena Zambia kuti akupenya. I'm telling you. Mutale Mwanza's emissaries. Do you guys know what an emissary is? An emissary is like an ambassador. Someone you send to speak for you. Now, of course, I'm not suggesting... I know Mutale Mwanza. Not only is she someone I know, she's my fellow content creator. She's a social media personality. She's a socialite. Not only is she all of that, she's also my relation. So I know her. I don't think that Mutale Mwanza is sending anyone to speak for her. I doubt that. The way I know Mutale, there's no way Mutale is going to be calling people and saying, boy, nsoselako we alandi muchive, ule umfuafye, uyu mkashano yuchichi dezi, ala napena. Shishi benefya kuchita boy, ine balanka kaine ne mulanda ine. Nga make-up kuchimboka ila. Yikafuma kwi. Ndandilako boy, mutumine phone na la kuchita WhatsApp. Untumine kontwani. Ulande na nkwe. Upapate. Ufukame pakulanda. Nangulipa phone ufukame. Umwebi ati Mutale na ndwala. Talebya no kulia na onda na chifuma na mkonda. Mwebe. Edionga wa mweba. Untumine pa WhatsApp. You think Mutale can do that? That is not Mutale Mwanza. Mutale does not send emissaries. So my encouragement to you people who are speaking on behalf of Mutale Mwanza, Mutale is a big girl. She can speak for herself. That thing that she's involved in is a very serious issue. When Mutale posted what she posted, these emissaries were nowhere to be seen. Awe nama emissaries aba. Awe ni aba bakashana na aba numendo. Abena Dandy Crazy's wife. Uyu ntwani uyu katushinga ni nani umbi uyu ntwani uyu. Kai pa social media tulalaba. abakashana nawe lumendo baleti yo mwere tulero mbo bwerero. But where were you when Mutale said those things? This is what I find strange about Timumwe Bantuimwe, you people. You. Did Mutale posted those things? None of you people were doing what you're doing now. Did you know Mbachichi Daisy becomes aggrieved? Pantu filiala ndile Mutale fingi elio fivi. Fia musalu le fia kowela fia fieka. Chari mukaripa. In this environment of usaiba laws, ushesaiba law kuti yakupanya. Mwatiala kuchitambwino. Chichi Daisy feels aggrieved. She's taken her grievances. Is it a grievances? Forgot about grievances. Hey, just so go. She's taken her complaint, to the courts. And the courts will hear. What will happen there is yet to be seen. But for you chaps to come out as if you are champions, and you are saying, no, you know the way Zambians are wired. Let me tell you how Zambians are wired. Zambians think that as long as you ask for forgiveness, it is owed. Forgiveness is owed. No, as long as you as long as you ask for forgiveness, forgiveness is automatically owed to you. That doesn't work. Where on earth? Papa Street on the streets. It's rough out here on these streets. Umuntu ngaisa kuri wewe pa street. Oh, mukwae turero mbo bwerero. The notion is just because you've asked for it, you must be forgiven. Well, it doesn't always happen that way. The world ain't sunshine and rainbows. Okay? It's a tough, mean, nasty place, and it'll break you down to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. That's a line from Rocky Balboa, but that's the truth. The world is not sunshine and rainbows. So, in my view, Chichi Daisy, being an aggrieved person, she's hurt. Don't victimize her for being hurt. Let her deal with it in her way, and let the chips fall where they may. Those bars. I just did a rap rhyme right there. I'm telling you. All right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta go for lunch. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. God bless. Bye. No matachire shimamwe. Oh, entitlement. Mwinga says yes. That's the word, Mwinga. Thank you, darling. Dear. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Mwewa ntuchaba shadi nomba.